So, I finally got tired of buying passives for prototypes and one-off surface mount designs. Like I'd done with through-hole parts about 20 years ago, I finally bought some resistor, capacitor, and inductor kits. Unlike the through-hole variety, though, I had to buy them in a few different surface mount sizes from 1206 down to 0402. I finally found these sample books, which seemed like a pretty good deal on eBay. Inside the book, there are these neat plastic sleeves, each labeled with the part value, and they hold a few strips of components on cut tape. I soon learned these are probably made from very old reels of components that aren't suitable for automated assembly anymore. I found they would sometimes just float off the solder during reflow. If you look at some of the 0603 resistors under a microscope, for instance, you can see that the terminals are kind of dingy and oxidized. I suspect these are coated with tin lead solder, which does oxidize and lose solderability over time. It's this oxide layer that causes them not to wet with solder and instead just float on top of it. To be able to use these parts reliably, I found I had to clean them before placing them on a board. Salek over on the hackaday.io hack chat recommended rubbing them on a sheet of paper to clean them. This actually works really well. Just a quick rub on the paper cleans the terminals right up. You can see some dark residue that gets left on the paper. This is exactly the kind of very fine lead that can cause problems if ingested, so make sure to wash your hands very thoroughly after cleaning parts like this. Here, you can see the difference between resistors right off the tape and after being cleaned on the paper. The clean resistors on the right have a nice, shiny appearance. To test how well this fix works, I placed 4 0603 resistors on a test PCB, 2 resistors right off the tape, and 2 I had cleaned with the paper trick. As the solder melts, you can see the 2 resistors on the left float on top of the molten solder and right off of their pads, while the 2 cleaned resistors on the right adhere normally. Examining the board afterwards, we can see what happened. The clean resistors reflowed normally, while the oxidized ones right off the tape didn't wet with solder, floated into odd positions, and are only held onto the board with flux. Obviously, you can't use this trick for automated pick-and-place assembly, but for prototypes or just a few boards, this will allow you to use old components successfully.